Hey y'all! I'm back again with another Pokemon Challenge video. Pokemon Red with only Kangaskhan was super fun, and this time I wanted to use a Pokemon that promises to get me hot under the collar. Can I beat Pokemon Red using only one Rhyhorn? As usual, the rules are I can only use Rhyhorn in battle and I can't use any items in battle. By the way, if you like this kind of content and want to see more, be sure to subscribe and check out more of the videos on my channel. Rhyhorn is one heck of a lumpy and lopsided Pokemon, in terms of design and also stats. HP, attack, and defense are actually good, but the special and speed are some of the worst in the entire game. Rhyhorn learns mostly normal moves, and doesn't get any ground type moves by level up. Coincidentally though, it does get the two strongest electric moves in the game by TM. Not that that matters. Alright, time to get horny, let's do this. Off at Professor Oak's lab, I used the Universal Pokemon Randomizer to replace Squirtle with Rhyhorn so that our rival will pick Bulbasaur. Venusaur will have Razor Leaf, which not only always critical hits, but also is double super effective, so this one is going to be really crazy. This is one of the first ones where I don't even actually know if we can beat it. Rhyhorn looks like if Nigel Thornberry were turned to stone and put into a Pokemon game, so I nickname it Rockschnoz. Rhyhorn starts off with only Horn Attack, but that's actually a pretty strong move for this early in the game. We make pretty quick work of the rival's Bulbasaur, but that's only because it doesn't have a grass move yet. Just give it time, the suck is on its way soon. Similarly to what we experienced with Kangaskhan, I'm glad to report that we managed to beat Brock with Rhyhorn at only level 15. I was really worried for the same reasons as I was with Kangaskhan about not being able to dodge Bide because our only move is Horn Attack. But the good news is that we're also a physically tanky rock type, so Brock's Pokemon really can't do much to us either. The good news is that because Horn Attack is twice as strong as Tackle, we're able to outpace Brock's rocks in terms of damage, even with him spamming Defense Curl and Screech. Don't get me wrong, this still takes forever, and I had to try it many times, but at least we can move on with our lives. I get to Cerulean City and take on the rival Bubs, and at this point I'm concerned that I'm going to have to grind to a super high level before I can get past the rival, or Misty for that matter. Rhyhorn dispatches all of Bubs' other Pokemon with relative ease, but Vine Whip from Bulbasaur is just destroying Rhyhorn's awful special. And we only won this because Bulbasaur went for Leech Seed when it could have just knocked us out. There's just no way I can beat Misty yet, so I head to Vermilion City for another battle with Bubs on the SS Anne. I taught Rhyhorn the TM for Dig, which is an incredibly strong move for our horny boy. Pidgeotto makes us miss the tongue with Sand Attack, but when we do hit our digs, Bubs' Pokemon end up in the ground. I grab a couple of levels until Rhyhorn is able to survive Ivysaur's Vine Whip, and then win the battle. I'm really not looking forward to win this thing as a Venusaur, you know? Well, at this point there's nothing left to do now but try to beat Misty. I keep getting rocked over and over again by her water moves, until eventually I get a run where not only does she go for 2 unnecessary X defense, but Rhyhorn lands a critical hit to one-hit KO the Starmie. This is especially nutty because critical hits are proportional to base speed in this game, and Rhyhorn is one of the slowest of all time. Well, after Misty, it's time to take on Lieutenant Surge for the most free gym battle in the entire world. He doesn't even try to hide just how bad he truly is. Raichu tried to Thunderbolt our Rocky Rhino, knowing full well Electric doesn't affect ground types. Dig destroys his electric Pokemon, and we move right along. Heck, I spent more time solving the trash can puzzle than beating Lieutenant Surge. Why does that sound familiar? I tried to take on the rival Bubs in the Pokemon Tower in Lavender Town, but he has a Gyarados that knows Hydro Pump now, and it's hard enough to beat him when it was just the Ivysaur. So I head over to Celadon City to take on Giovanni at the Rocket Game Corner for some experience. I also got the TM for Rock Slide from the Celadon City department store, which is a fantastic move that we rarely get to use in any of these runs, but boy is it great here. Now that we have a couple of extra levels and Rock Slide, we take on Bubs once again. We have to wait for the 20% chance that Gyarados misses Hydro Pump, but that doesn't take long, and we OHKO the Sea Serpent with Rock Slide. I'm so glad Rhyhorn can learn this move. The combination of ground and rock coverage is one of the best in all of Pokemon, in any game. We get to Ivysaur with full health, and I'm not sure if I can take a Vine Whip, but I don't really need to know because it goes for Leech Seed and Dig one-hit KOs the Plantosaurus. At this point, I normally try to take on the Celadon City Gym Leader Erica, but there's no way I could beat her 3 grass Pokemon with a Rhyhorn at this level. So we go to take on the Poison Gym Leader Koga in Fuchsia City, and this one's pretty easy. The TM for Earthquake we got from the Sylph Company building scared him so much that Weezing actually gave up and self-destructed. It's at this point that I tried taking on Erica at the grass gym in Celadon City, and I was worried we still wouldn't be able to get past the first Pokemon, but somehow we outspeed all of our Pokemon now. Granted, we're at level 40, but Rhyhorn has one of the worst base speeds in the entire game. Just goes to show how much of a difference stat experience makes in this game. The rival in the Sylph Company building is still too strong for Rhyhorn, so I had to send up our island to take on the Fire-type gym leader, Blaine. We totally wreck him with Earthquake, and there's not much else to say about it, but it's so strange to think that this run has been completely out of order. It's very bizarre by comparison. Well, now that we've done that, there's nothing left to do but to go back to the Sylph Company building and take on the rival Bubs. And unfortunately, once again, the strategy kind of comes down to Gyarados missing a Hydro Pump. But you know what? That's what Bubs gets for using such a strong move when Surf would have just as easily kicked our Tuckus. Even after that, we need Alakazam to not use Psychic and Venusaur to not use Razor Leaf. But when that happens, we win pretty easily. After that epic battle with Bubs, we had a sad skirmish with Giovanni. His Rhyhorn is inferior, and the rest of his Pokemon go down easily to Earthquake. It seems to be the case with Rhyhorn that we either get obliterated by special moves, or we completely rock the opponent's Pokemon with Earthquake and Rock Slide. Like I said at the beginning, Rhyhorn is lumpy and lopsided. In these battles, it either flips or it flops. There is no in between. Well, next up is Sabrina, and there's no strategy besides attack her and pray she does nothing. Which happens a lot because Alakazam and Mr. Mime have plenty of moves that do nothing. But Venomoth likes to paralyze us with Stun Spore, and that's bad. But Earthquake is able to one-hit KO her Pokemon because of their squishy physical defense. It just takes a couple of tries. Well, we just battled Giovanni, but here we are again, and it's the final gym battle. Rhyhorn raffle stomps his whole team. In fact, the only real damage we take is from his Dugtrio's Dig, which doesn't even do half of our health. Just consider this battle a short reprieve from the mayhem before we have to take on the rival and his difficult team once again. Oh yeah, speaking of which, that's happening in 3, 2, 1. We finally have a strategy that makes this battle consistent. After beating Giovanni and the Sylph Company, we can get the TM for Mimic from the Copycat Girl in Saffron City. With Mimic, we can copy Agility on Pidgeot to not only boost our terrible speed, but also badge boost all of our other stats as well. I know I explain this in every video, but in this game, every time your stats are modified, the badge boost to your stats are all reapplied. With this, our attack and speed are slightly higher, and Rhyhorn is able to one-hit KO everything but the Venusaur. As long as it doesn't click Razor Leaf, we're able to win this one. Here are the stats going into the Elite Four. Rhyhorn is at level 53, but if you've seen any of these runs before, you know that Lorelei is up first, and there's just no way we can beat her right now. Dugong's Aurora Beam almost knocks us out and constantly lowers our attack, at which point it's just completely over. Even if we get past Dugong, Cloyster is even worse and can lock us with Clamp and completely take us out because it's a water type move. Our only chance of beating her relies on getting to Slowbro with a decent amount of health, and that's just not happening here. I leveled up Rock Schnoz, and even at level 60, we still take over half of our health from Dugong's Aurora Beam, and Cloyster still outspeeds and finishes us off. It's not until we reach level 69 that Rock Schnoz is horny enough to beat Lorelei. We're finally able to outspeed and one-hit KO the Dugong, and Cloyster takes enough damage that Lorelei will use a Super Potion instead of attacking. Still, it comes down to coin flips against the Slowbro. We use Mimic to copy Amnesia, which will boost our special stat, but it's a 50-50 chance whether Slowbro uses Withdraw versus Water Gun, since both are water-type moves and Lorelei wants to do super effective damage. Well, the AI is not all that great, but it's the best that we have, and with Special boosted by Amnesia and the badge boost to attack and speed, we're able to outspeed the Jinx and Lapras and knock them out in one hit. After the battle, I use a rare candy to reset our experience points, so we won't level up during the battle with Bruno. Remember that leveling up resets the additional badge boost that we receive from modifying our stats. Man, why does that sound familiar? Anyways, next up is Bruno, and right away I use Mimic to copy Harden from Onix and boost up. I don't really care about the defense, since our defense is already high enough, but I do want the additional attack, speed, and special, because I want to outspeed and one-hit KO the Hitmonchan. Otherwise, it will go for Ice Punch, which will do a ton of damage and can possibly freeze us. And at that point, the battle's over. But with our Hardens and our badge boost, it's just a matter of clicking Earthquake enough times to win the battle. But there's no harm in playing it safe, especially when for so many other battles in this game, it's just been trial after trial. Next up is Agatha, and she's as annoying as ever, but it's an easy battle with Earthquake and Rock Slide. Her Pokemon have mediocre defense, and Earthquake is a physical move that preys upon her poison type's weaknesses. Like with Kangaskhan, it's not very often in these runs where we can actually hit Agatha with real damage, and with Rock Slide and Earthquake, we can 1-hit KO every single one of her godforsaken Pokemon. Not for nothing though, Agatha certainly tries her best to piss me off, paralyzing us with Glare on the Arbok, and her whole team spams Confuse Ray relentlessly. Because we aren't badge boosting our speed, we're kind of at the mercy of her status ailments. But it's okay because Rhyhorn is a beast against poison types, and there's not a whole lot she can do about it besides trying to cheese us out. Take that, you old hag. After her, it's time to take on the last Elite Four member, Lance, and once again I use a rare candy to reset our experience so we don't level up during the battle. From now on, assume that if you see me using a rare candy before battle, it means we'll be badge boosting, which is the case here. We're going to use Mimic to copy Agility on his Dragonair, but first we have to wait for the Gyarados to miss the Hydro Pumps that it just loves to go for, so we can blast it with a Rock Slide. Once we get past the Gyarados, the battle is basically over. With additional speed and the badge boost from Agility, the rest of his team is pretty easy for Rock Slide to take care of, but that's also not always the case because Rock Slide has a 10% chance to miss. There was an attempt where Gyarados missed Hydro Pump only for me to miss Rock Slide and then immediately get knocked out by another Hydro Pump the very next turn. Finally, it's time to take on the champion, our rival Bubs, and once again, we're using a rare candy to reset our experience. Because we're going to be using badge boost to raise our speed, attack and special, blah blah blah, you know what I'm saying. Otherwise, there's just no way we could beat the Venusaur. You know, a lot of times I feel like a broken record explaining this information, but I have to remind myself that not everybody watches every single one of these videos. Some people pop in and out. Well, for Bubs, the strategy is to knock out the Pidgeot right away with Rock Slide, and then paralyze the Alakazam with Body Slam so we can try and take it down without taking any damage. The important thing is that we used Mimic to copy Recover on Alakazam. Now here's the key. Rhydon comes out and we're using Body Slam and Recover to purposefully stall as many turns as possible. We want Rhydon to use Leer and Tail Whip to lower our defense, which we don't really care about, but what we do care about is that Leer and Tail Whip will give us badge boosts. So as long as we can get a couple of Leers and or Tail Whips, we'll be able to take on the Venusaur. It's always tough having to use this strategy against the rival because it is inconsistent and it relies on letting him make decisions for us. And anytime you have to rely on the AI in this game to do something, it's usually not a great situation to be in. Arcanine and Gyarados go down in a single hit, and Venusaur comes out for the moment of truth. With Badge Boost, we not only outspeed, but Earthquake is a 1-hit KO and we defeat the Pernicious Plant to win the run. And with that, the challenge is over. Rhyhorn was such a roller coaster of a Pokemon challenge. When it's good, it is good. But man, when it is bad, it truly is bad. Well, as always, I want to thank you for making it to the end of this video. These videos are a lot of fun, but also a lot of work, so I really do appreciate it. There's a playlist on my channel where you can find the rest of my Pokemon challenge videos if you want to check those out. And there are quite a few of them at this point. So if you just need something to put on in the background while you're doing something else, that's great. I really do appreciate it. So if you like this kind of content and want to see more, subscribe and enable notifications so you'll know right away the next time one of these episodes is uploaded. And let me know in the comments what other Pokemon you want to see, and I'll probably do it. Continuing with the theme of Safari Zone Pokemon I never used as a child, next up is beating Pokemon Red using only one Pinsir. This is the last Pokemon in our little Safari Zone series, and I'm pretty excited to use it. Especially since it's a Pokemon Blue exclusive, and I only had Pokemon Red growing up as a child. And I know what you're thinking, well, why didn't you just trade with one of your friends? Ha! Joke's on you, I didn't have any. Anyways, until next time,